Toothpick is a quiet person as she rarely speaks. If she does, it means it's important. Otherwise, she will stay quiet for the whole day. She's not cool with talking to people, but she tries. She can be very intelligent. Notebook is a smart person and possibly the smartest in town. He has graduated while being the top student. He's nice but very nerdy towards people. He also has a lisp. He does get bullied a lot because of his gender and for how nerdy he is. Stone is an individual that is quite rough and mean to others. He also does not have much friends and he is hated on because of this. His best friend is Ornament as she understands his behavior. He does not like people being on his property as he sprays them with a water gun. He does not like going outside and enjoys watching shows on his TV. Ornament is a nice person and is almost friends with everybody. She's almost very mother-like to some younger people. One friend stands out to the most, and that's Stone. She spends a lot of time with him because she understands what he's going through and he has problems. She likes going outside, but half the time she stays inside with Stone so he can have some company. He's seen as grumpy or very lazy. He doesn't do any work in his house, so it looks like a mess. He only talks to two people, which is Button and Lollipop. Even if he's lazy, he likes a good party Lollipop throws every once in a while. He's often seen as mischievous, always sabotaging the pranky people. Playing games with this guy is a nightmare. Always cheats or cries if something doesn't go his way. He's immature and annoying. Good to have as a teammate though in games, I suppose. Still whiny and bitchy though. Button is a loner besides being with Candle and Lollipop. Although he doesn't hang out as much, instead he plays video games in his house or eating or sleeping. He's rough on people because they annoy him or don't matter to him. When times are serious, he still isn't serious because he will care about his games. Bird is a mysterious robot that sort of just roams, not really living but interacting with things like doors or grass or even doorknobs. That kind of annoys people at night. She was built by someone unknown 7 years ago, but is now only interacting with stuff for 2 years now. Where was she for the other 5 years? Probably the most normal dude. He doesn't really do much besides just going to the park and feed birds. She's often said as silly and a good energy to have around. She's not the brightest but can brighten somebody else's day. Probably the most happiest person around despite a lot of drama that happens. Some serious when bad stuff happens and is the one usually evacuating everyone to a place that he knows is safe. When there isn't anything dangerous, he's usually a normal guy hanging out with friends. He misses Caden and Lilypad. Bowling Ball is not known by many people, but is a very nice guy and can be vengeful. He's really strong and will do anything to protect his friends. She is often sarcastic and a bit sassy. She has no friends whatsoever and does not really care. She is a loner and always has an idea on how to pick on someone innocent. Often rude and narcissistic, she only has two friends, which is Button and Candle. But even then, she is still incredibly rude to both of them. And despite being friends, she also throws parties that almost everyone goes to. The only reason why people go there is because they get tons of prizes from party games. And there's a pool. She is the richest person in town, but doesn't use her wealth as she should. She thinks everyone likes her, which they don't. Besides Candle and Button, of course. The definition of narcissistic. People try to be friends with him because he has a cool ability and say that he's a fan of his work, as he also makes comics. Although he turns them down and say to go off themselves. He also has a rival, which is Nuke. Nuke tries to ignore him because the rivalry is stupid on who's the better Rocket. But Rocket always finds a way into the house and bothers her, so much to the point that the police were called and he was arrested for a week. She's usually calm and nice towards people, but ever since the rivalry with Rocket started, she's been inside since just calling her friends and police officers about the situation or just to talk to try to calm down. She can get serious and won't hesitate to do what's right. Cardin is an unusual person, although it might make perfect sense when interacting with her and seeing what she's based off of. She's a Pokemon card and she follows the basics of a Pokemon, such as saying her name only and not talking normally. Having types, although she can be any type she wants, and can have the powers of those types, although they are very weak. Where did she come from, though, is my question. She prefers to stay fire than common. She is the defense of the group being durable and can be invulnerable to most people's attacks when we were doing a chase or something like that. Besides police stuff, she's naturally nice and likes taking the shit for us, even though not being able to be hurt. She's a good kid. He's the most speedy out of our group, so he's very useful. Sure, he's hyper and a lot with all that energy, but he's a super nice guy and lots of potential. He just joined the police force and he seems to be having fun. Hope nothing bad happens to the guy. Now, to lie about myself, I'm the strength of the group, being able to take down people quickly if I'm in trouble. I'm not the fastest, and that's why Cane Game's a good play. And I'm always distracted on one criminal, so I'm always getting shot at by the others. But Grave takes the shots for me. People see me as bossy and rude, but when you get to know me, I'm a real nice guy, and sometimes I'll even make a few jokes just to pull you over, unless you're going somewhere important. Well, this is end of mine. Time to make everybody else's that's happening during the weeks what a glory mess.